Welcome back to another episode of the Live Your Yes Life podcast, where we share channeled thoughts, discussion, and interviews on what it takes to go from dreaming and wishing to actively living your yes life. My name is Lisa Limata. I am the co-host here of this podcast, along with my daughter and business partner, Kayla. We're the co-founders of Rise Leadership Circle. And if this is your first time here, welcome, or welcome back to those of you who have been tuning in. So I want to share just a little update and just kind of share some real-time work that we're doing inside of Rise Leadership Circle right now. So if you're a regular listener, you'll probably have noticed that Kayla and I alternate weeks, I should say, for the podcast. Usually she's here twice a month, I'm here twice a month, and you get to hear from both of us. So a couple of weeks ago, we did not publish a podcast for the first time in a long time. And this was right coming out of the eclipse energy. And I want to tell you guys, the reason we didn't publish is because I ended up taking an unexpected couple of days off. So for me, as we moved into this solar eclipse, like so unexpected, I really had some big transformational emotional shifts that came up in my life. And it really took me out for a couple of days. Like I literally unplugged from work for a couple of days. And I was kind of forced to look at something that I had been ignoring for a while. So really ignoring the subtle signals from my body, just kind of logicking my way through something. The what of it is not important. It's just really, I want to share a little bit about the experience because it ties into the episode that I want to share with you today. And I feel, I want to share honestly with you too, because Kayla and I, we're doing this work right along with you. We're coaches. We're teaching you the work that we do in our own lives. I'm not teaching you anything that I haven't personally worked through on some level in my own life, or that I don't have extensive experience with working with my clients through. And there's always a new level, right? It's not that we do this work, so therefore our life is just shiny and perfect. It's really, truly that we're on the journey and consistently growing and learning. So this was a big eye-opener for me and a reminder that it's time for me to just really remember that I have to tune in. I have to listen to my intuition. I have to listen to those signals from my body before it gets to the point that it feels like it's literally spilling over. And there's some things in our life that it's really easy to do that. There's areas where it's easy to do that in, and then there's other areas where not so much. And particularly when it comes to close relationships and things like that. So I am in the middle of leading, or Kayla and I are in the middle of leading an immersion within our circle community. So if you're not totally familiar, an immersion is something that we do with our clients. It's a week-long experience where we go in, and rather than take a topic and spend, 4 weeks doing a module a week, we meet every single day for a week. And we roll up our sleeves, we go in, and we do some deep inner work. Usually it's inner work. Sometimes it's really action oriented. It depends on what it is, but we do one every single quarter within the circle. And it's a coaching experience where it's not so much about learning as it really is about having an experience of walking through something in your life in real time and letting that experience really shift you and transform you. So the one that we're currently doing right now is called the Dream Portal Immersion. And we created this immersion because I've been hearing from not just women in our community, but just having conversations as I do with not just women either, women and men, but I've been having recent conversations where people have been saying to me this, just been this sense of like, I'm feeling a little disconnected from my purpose, or I really felt like I knew what my dream was, but now it's not so clear. And I just feel like I'm needing that deepening, or I'm needing that clarity. So we created this immersion, and sometimes I feel like these things create themselves as we get into the space of really bringing it together. And that was definitely the case with this particular experience. And we really took this from what I would call like a top-down approach, where, I sat and really thought about bringing this dream of Rise Leadership Circle to life. This is our 6th year now. It's been such an amazing experience. And It really came through by divine design. We've got some other podcasts where we've shared the origin story. If you want to hear it, send me a message and let you know. I'll make sure that you get a link to it. But it was really divine design. So Kayla and I were on opposite sides of the country, and we both, at the same moment, literally, she was on a walk, I was in a meditation, started to receive these ideas of creating this new company and what this could look like. And we didn't realize that we were meant to do it together until we actually both sat and shared what we had experienced and received and what we were thinking about creating. And it was like exactly the same thing. And so as we were doing this dream portal immersion, I really wanted to bring forward, how our dreams really come to us. We don't create them from the mind. We receive ideas, we receive thoughts, we receive energy. And so all of us, whether we realize we're doing it or not, are tapped into this, what I would call like this formless creative energy. You could call it higher self, whatever it is for you that you want to call it. But this is happening to all of us every day, all day, right? We're receiving ideas, we're receiving inspiration. And sometimes we act on it and sometimes we don't. But that's really the place. We can't sit down and just logic our way to creating our dreams. We have to make sure that we're actually in the receiving mode, that we're willing to be receptive to the inspiration that's all around us. So it requires us to really tune in. So we started there, really tapping in and tuning in to what are we receiving and are we opened up to receiving? And then the next step is bringing it into the body first. So the mind actually comes last, right? This has really been sort of like a mind, body, spirit journey, but the mind is the last step. It's really the servant to the body and to the higher self. But that's not what we're taught, right? You guys know we talk about this a lot here on this podcast, is that so often we just want to plan our way, logic our way, get into some massive action and get things done. And what happens when we skip the step of paying attention to what we're receiving, right? Or paying attention to what's happening in our body is we're missing out on half of the creative process. So I'm really talking about working with a balanced feminine and masculine energy. As a reminder, we all have both within us. Whether you're a man or a woman, we all carry both masculine and feminine energy within. And it's meant to be balanced, And I think all of us have our own unique design. Some of us we're designed to prioritize one particular energy over the other, and that's great. You want to honor your design, but we do need to work with both. Kayla and I have been this week really helping our clients remember that this is really a soul and body approach first. We want to anchor it in, and then we enlist the mind to carry out the plans and take the action steps. And that's how it's really meant to be, right? It's like the heart gets to lead the way, the mind follows it. So today, I'm going to tie this into the story I opened up with here for you guys. Today, we really talked about what it means to be fully embodied with the truest version of who we are, where we are really anchored in to the present moment, and how important it is that we're including paying attention to the signals of our body. So in the story that I shared with you of just really actually getting to a place where it took a literal, I guess I would call it the breakdown before the breakthrough, right? Of just realizing how much I was holding emotions inside of me and ignoring those subtle signals. And had I not done that, I would have really been connected to my power in a really profound way and could have avoided walking through what I did. So let me bring this into something a little bit more tangible for you. So one of the things we were talking about today is the book, I think it's called The Hidden Messages in Water, if I'm not mistaken. It's by Dr. Emoto. You might be familiar with this book, and if not, I highly recommend reading it or even just Googling it. And you can find things on YouTube, you can find things on Google to really look at his work. So I'm going to give you guys like the gist of it. If you've heard this before, pay attention again, because I want to bring this back to the words you're speaking to yourself and how your body is responding. So what he did, Dr. Emoto did these experiments where they took samples of water, and they would, to one sample of water, literally speak or intend loving thoughts into the water. They would either speak the words, think the words, send the intentions, and in some cases, like even writing the words on it. So things that were love, that were peace, that were joy. And with the other sample of water, they would connect it with words like hate and fear. And then what they did was they took these two samples, which were from like the same place, and froze them. And the samples of water, so they would turn to ice crystals, the samples of water where they were speaking love and like positive words over it, those crystals were these perfect geometric shapes. They were like these beautiful geometric crystals. And then the water that was spoken hate or other things over it did not freeze in those beautiful crystals. They were disjointed, they were fractionated, like they just were not at all the same. And that showed the power of our emotions, our intentions, our vibration to affect the world around us. And in this case, to affect water. So maybe you bless the water that you drink, or you speak positive intentions into your water. But what I also want you to understand is that our bodies are made up of 60% water. That's an average, right? We're all about 60% water. So if you think about your dominant thoughts and the way that you're speaking and the way that you're talking and the way that you're intending, you are literally affecting your body on a cellular level. And your body is always in communication with you. So we want to make sure that we have this loving partnership. So there's a couple of really interesting studies that have been done. As I was just prepping for this immersion, I came across a study by this doctor who, was talking about how we can see that this happens on a cellular level with water. And it explains a lot why we also carry our memories and why we store emotions within the tissues in our body. So within the fascia of our body, in our muscle tissues. And they have been doing some studies trying to figure out, like, the brain isn't the only place that stores memories. I think today, I don't know, maybe there's something more recent, but they haven't really been able to pinpoint where the long-term memories are stored in the brain. And they actually have all this evidence that we store memory, we store emotion in our tissues, in our muscles. And it explains why when people get an organ transplant, they will often experience memories of the organ donor. And this doctor was sharing this story about how I can link it below. Hopefully I can go back and find the link and link it below if you guys want to check it out. But he was sharing the story about how this man had a heart transplant and he received like a young woman's heart. And this woman, unfortunately, had been murdered. And he was having memories like almost immediately upon waking up of basically her murderer, who did it. It was so clear for him that he was able to relay it to the police, and they were actually able to arrest the person that carried out the murder. And that's how much the memories are stored in our tissues and in our cells. And of course, I think the heart is such a powerful organ. And so if we really think about how important it is to pay attention to the words we speak, particularly the words we speak about ourselves, the words we speak to and over other people that we connect with and the people that are connected with in our life, it really brings that home. And we want to make sure that if our body is holding on to something, we want to embody love and confidence and our truth and all of the things that make us the most aligned version of who we really are at a soul level. So I had given the people in our program the assignment of just speaking 5 specific affirmations. I had them write them out and then stand in the mirror every single morning and read each affirmation 3 times and talk about what the experience was that they were having as they were reading these words. And it's really amazing to think, like, number one, you can feel your energy shift instantly, especially if you're reading it 3 times. I had them look into their own eyes. You guys take this on, write out your favorite affirmations, or you can ask me for some, I will send you some, but you want to look into your own eyes in the mirror. It makes this 10 times more powerful because you are literally speaking it into your own cells in your body. And you want to speak about what you want. And it's incredible how even in like that instant, you'll feel an energetic shift. But the other thing that tends to happen is we have opportunities almost come from nowhere, right? You could see a shift in your finances that like every time we do something like this, we have a client who's like, oh, this already happened today, or this happened so quickly. And we want to remember, of course, that's why we're literally intending and creating with the power of our words, including our own body. And it's no surprise, as I was moving through this, I recently had a quote unquote diagnosis of some stuff that's happening. I've been healing leaky gut and some other gut issues. It's been ongoing for me for quite a while, and had been doing really well, and then just recently had a setback. I've been really, really intentional about the words I am speaking around what's happening with my gut. Rather than claim I have this or I have that, I've been choosing to say, like, having this experience that I'm currently healing. And I want to continue to remind myself, remind my body, remind myself what we're actually having in this moment is a healing experience. And of course, it's no surprise, as I told you, knowing I was ignoring what my body was saying. I was ignoring some things and not wanting to hear it, just logicking my way until my kind of spilled over. Of course, I experienced some issues with my gut because our gut is often the place that we tend to store things or hold on to things. It's our power center. So I want to ask you this, just notice what's been true for you, right? What are the subtle signals your body has been sending you? And how have you been speaking and thinking and talking about what you want, and particularly around the areas of your dream? So if your dream's been feeling a little bit fuzzy or a little bit cloudy, but this is a reminder that you want to really pay close attention to those words around your dreams, because if your dream is feeling a little bit cloudy, this is an opportunity for you to just tune into the inspiration that's around you, right? To just maybe give your mind a rest. This may be a time to find some stillness or to plug into something that brings you joy, to plug into things that make you feel good so that you can actually unplug and start to receive, get back into the receptive mode so you can get clarity again on what your dream is. Or maybe there's a new piece of your dream that's meant to come through. Just today on our call, we had someone, I just took them through a series of coaching questions, and someone received something brand new. She was like, I just received that, like, I have a desire to write a book. And she's like, I've never, ever tapped into that before. Like, this just came through for the first time. And that's what happens when we allow ourselves to get into the receptive mode and we allow ourselves to be in this elevated frequency, right? So I hope you'll take this on, tune in, and give yourself a little bit of stillness if you're needing it. Pay attention to the words that you're speaking. And as always, I want to invite you to like and share and subscribe this podcast. Maybe you know someone who needs to hear this today. Please share it with them. And we love it so much when you take the time to reach out and send us a message and let us know how this resonated for you, or if there's something else you'd love for us to speak into. We're going to be working on bringing in a lot more guests for you in the coming months ahead. We have a lot of things planned. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next episode. Before you go, I want to mention one quick thing. I want to invite you to come and join us inside our private Facebook group titled Live Your Yes Life for Heart-Centered Leaders. This group is such a great place to make friends, connect with other heart-centered leaders and humans who have big dreams and are really going after their dreams in the world. This is not just for entrepreneurs, it's for anyone who really wants to claim and live their yes life boldly. And you can find us on Facebook by searching Live Your Yes Life, or I'm going to link this below. You can just click the link, jump in and join us. There's always something new happening inside the group every single day. Kayla or myself goes live every week, and we are always bringing in different special events from month to month. So it's a beautiful place to plug in. We would love to have you join us. It's absolutely free. And if you're interested in taking this work further and actually working with Kayla or I, you can send us a message. You can head over to our website, riseleadershipcircle.com, and let us know if you'd like more information. We have programs that start as little as your cup of coffee or your latte a day, as well as some of our higher level masterminds. And so we can always help you discover where you fit on the journey. And we would love to have a conversation with you if you are looking for more support.